My girlfriend is getting an abortion. I think it's to hide the fact that she's cheating on me. I've been in a relationship with my current girlfriend for 10 years, I think at this point we're basically married in all but name. We've been trying to have kids for the past few years unsuccessfully, including one attempt that ended with a stillborn child. We took a break from trying after that but resumed about 7 months ago. I'm not infertile, but do have low sperm count and a genetic disease that makes it unlikely. 2 weeks ago my girlfriend tested positive on her pregnancy test. Things have been rough between us recently, but I was so happy because I thought this was both a chance to patch up our relationship and for me to become a father. Today she told me she was going to get an abortion. Like I said, the past few months have been rough and, to be frank, I think she's cheating on me with a coworker. Ever since things got rough she's been spending a lot of time with him, including going on platonic date nights most Saturdays. I think I kind of knew all along, but we were still trying for a child so I ignored it. I think the abortion is because the kid is his and she doesn't want me to find out. She says it's because she can't deal with another stillborn, but then what were we trying for the past 7 months? She knew how important this was to me, so why an abortion? Why not just let me raise the kid if she doesn't want it? I'd be happy to do that, but no. I've been thinking of telling the coworker. I'm sure it's his and he has the right to know. I also thought of telling her parents, they've been rooting us on the whole time, but I don't know. I'm so lost. This was supposed to be a happy time in my life and I feel like everything I've been working for has been taken away from me. Any advice on how to handle this is appreciated. She has an appointment for the abortion on Friday. Comment. Be honest, which scenario sucks worse? The one where she's having an abortion to try and hide an infidelity, the one where she's doing it because she's about to leave you and doesn't want any ties, or the one where she genuinely cannot mentally cope with another stillbirth but has been faking being okay for 7 months and you didn't notice? I think you know this relationship is dying, if not dead. If you can get closure/answers, that's great, but you may not get full honesty at this point. Regardless of the truth, you guys are not in a healthy partnership right now and it's time to address that realistically. Yeah, that made me cringe, I'm not gonna lie. I'm literally 20 and not a parent, but from what I've heard you need a really strong relationship before having a baby because it can be the most difficult time in a relationship. A good foundation is necessary before adding something huge like a baby. My fiancé and I have been together almost 9 years, and we have a daughter that will be 2 in December. Since day one it was always like he and I against the world. We were always a team. We very rarely fought. We barely even bickered. We've been through some shit too, and it never even came close to breaking us. We have fought more in the 21 months since our daughter was born than we did in the entire 7 years prior. Like, significantly more. We're still a team, but now there's a tiny, demanding opponent that we both love more than we love ourselves, and it makes it hard. Add on to that the lack of sleep and how every stressor now seems 1,000 times worse because it's not just us we have to worry about anymore. Not gonna lie. It's tested us. And you won't really find a more solid foundation than the one we started on. Not gonna lie, having a baby absolutely does test your relationship like nothing else, and it can be so hard to stay connected with each other, but God, there are also some of the most amazing beautiful moments you will have ever experienced in your life between you and your partner and baby. It's hard to understand the beauty of loving this little human together until you've experienced it. And obviously becoming parents is not something everyone wants, and that's completely okay, but if it is something you want then it is so worth the difficult parts of it. My husband and I are committed to choosing to love each other and to figuring out the things that come between us, and being secure in that commitment really helps. My sister has been with her husband for 20 years. In the 12 years they were together before kids, they literally never fought. Just never. They got along so well and were an awesome team. Then they had kids and things got rough. Their boys are now, almost, 5 and 8, and things are significantly better. They're back to how they used to be. I don't know if you need/want to hear this, but things do get better. I'm sure there's a staggering number that divorce because of these changes. Less time for intimacy, alone time, time to decompress, money issues, parenting issues, such as not seeing eye to eye on certain things. All complete to exacerbate already existing issues and create new ones. This is probably why some divorced couples end up back together after the child is out of the picture. Because those stressors are no longer causing massive changes in personality and whatnot. It's never the child's fault, but sadly, they get the shit end of the stick in terms of living situations and possible karma. On top of that, there's no way of knowing who the father really is, even if she is cheating, which is not at all guaranteed at this point. The co-worker might genuinely be a friend that is helping her through hard times. They were actively trying for a baby, even with low sperm count. Op cannot be sure it's not his, neither can his partner. That's again only if she is cheating, there's no proof of that. I agree with you, this relationship sounds like it has run its course. It's very irresponsible to try for a baby to patch up the relationship. That barely ever succeeds, and then you have a broken relationship and a baby. Not ideal. The trauma of maybe losing the baby again while in an unstable relationship is also massive. Op's partner is being reasonable, no matter which of the scenarios is true. Next story 2. My husband is angry that I won't give him my student loan refund to help with bills. How do I have this conversation? I am a stay-at-home mom and receive $500 bi-weekly from my husband's paychecks to pay for things like our son's preschool, gas for the car, groceries, things the kids need, etc. My husband makes somewhere around $4,500 a month, but I'm not sure because he won't tell me for sure what he brings in. I am in school, and for the last 2 years I have been maxing out my student loan so that I can supplement my income, because what I get from my husband is not enough to last the month. I do not ask my husband for additional money, I do not use any of his credit cards, and I very minimally use Amazon/shop online. My husband knows that I have to supplement with my student loan refunds and will occasionally ask me if I need him to give me more money, but I always tell him no, things are tight, but I make it work. We are in the process of switching over our medical insurance to my husband's work insurance, which will cost more than what we currently pay. My husband told me yesterday that he thinks it would be a good idea to give him my student loan refund so he can use it on bills for the rest of the year until I get another check. I didn't respond to him out of shock. He brought it up again later, and I told him that I didn't feel that I could talk about it right then because I didn't want it to end up in a fight. He kept pushing me about it, and I told him that I wasn't going to give him the money. He got angry and is now ignoring me. The reason I don't want to give him the money is because I know it won't go to bills. He has packages coming in the mail from all sorts of websites almost every day. He spent almost $900 on Amazon in the span of 30 days. He gets fast food constantly. Anytime I have ever tried to talk to him about this spending, he tells me that he busts his ass for that money, and since he knows how much money we have, it isn't any of my business what he buys. He told me if I don't give him the money, he's going to lower the amount he gives me from his paychecks. He doesn't give me access to any of the online banking, and all but one bank account is solely in his name. I also have no idea what any of our bills are. I'm not asking for financial advice. I know our marriage isn't healthy, and we have discussed divorcing recently. When we discuss divorce, he gets angry, he cuts off the direct deposits, shuts my phone off, takes the car, and more, until I tell him sorry and that I won't divorce him. I just don't think I'm wrong for saying no until he stops his excessive spending. Comment. Please look up agencies in your area that help survivors of domestic violence. You're being financially abused. Yeah, there are a lot of things that these agencies cover beyond physical assault. Financial abuse is one of the most common things that happen. That's a very heartbreaking thing to say, but it should also give you hope that they will have lots of experience through which to support you. It is definitely abuse. Please seek out help and advice from someone local that can help you. I had a friend in a similar situation. Her husband was abusive in other ways as well. He made her believe that he was quite wealthy. He certainly made enough money, but he also spent a lot of money. Her husband died. After he died, she found out that he had basically spent everything. Fortunately, their house was paid for, so she did have a place to live. However, she had no credit, she had no bank account of her own, and she didn't even know how to pay the bills. She eventually got it sorted all out, but it was extremely difficult for her because she didn't have any credit of her own. Her saving grace was that because of the cause of her husband's death, related to his military service years ago, the government paid for her to go back to finish her education so she could start a career. So your husband gets in housemaid, caretaker, or his kids, sex vending machine that does not ask for anything and barely survives on no income. He spends his money how he wishes. What do you get out of this? Now he will start taking your income cause he's used to this gravy train. Where are your benefits of this marriage? God damn. With my ex, I treated her like a princess and my queen and spoiled the hell out of her. Was even willing to shoulder all the expenses for 3 to 4 years while she studied. I do not think it's a good idea to be financially dependent on him. In fact, leaving is probably not an option now because it will be difficult, right? Well, I don't see anything changing in the next few years. Imagine how difficult it would be 10 years from now when you're older and still financially dependent. Sigh. One of the typical MO of an abusive controller is isolating you from everybody else. Looks like he succeeded with that. What terrible luck getting him as a partner. I'm sorry, Op, I feel for you, but as an internet stranger I can't help you. You need to be strong for yourself in this struggle. You know your options better than I do. All I can suggest now is to work on creating more options so when the opportunity comes, you can win the fight and leave this abusive relationship. What conversation are you looking to have here? He's obviously not going to agree with you. He wants you struggling, he likes having freedom whilst you don't. That's not going to change no matter what you say. Focus on getting out of this. You have no idea how much he earns or how much debt he's in, which could be your debt too since you're married. You need to talk with a divorce lawyer, explain all of this and ask what can be done. Do not tell him you're looking at a divorce until the papers are ready to send, and in the meantime start squirreling cash away. At first when I started reading I was just confused on why you guys would advance to marriage with what seems so little trust. But then when you get into the meat of things, this is an abusive relationship. Of course there is no trust. Marriage is just another chain your abuser is using to violate you. The marriage puts you in a legal contract you need to break to fully be free of him. He financially controls you so you can't leave. Taking away cars, phones etc. He emotionally controls you using his mood to get you to behave how he wishes. This is all abuse. He is using multiple attacks to create an environment where you have to submit to his will.